Hi, I'm Danielle, and welcome to... This is my medicinal herb garden up in north central Canada. This year I decided to finally quit my day job so I could focus on my business full time and start to live my dream. Now, you might be thinking that this is a lot of grass for a garden, and you'd be correct. And we're going to tackle that in a little minute. But first, I just want to take a second to appreciate this mugwort that overwintered in my garden. It's just absolutely stunning, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. One of the joys of being a gardener is that at some point you are going to have to deal with weeds. And I'm a pretty mellow, lazy gardener. I don't mind a little bit of weeds in my garden, but when grasses completely take over, I just cannot sit idly by. But what happened in this instance is I didn't just let the grasses grow up in the garden. We were actually evacuated at the end of May last year, 2025, due to wildfires, and we were gone for a full month. And so during that time, these grasses just completely took over. And by the time I got home at the end of June, there wasn't really a whole lot I could do about it at that point because I was in school full time. I was also working a day job full time, and it was just way too much. It was so daunting. So honestly, I just kind of left a lot of it throughout all of last summer. Which now, of course, I am deeply regretting my past decisions, but I was a little bit already overwhelmed, just trying to catch back up with life after we got back from evacuation, so I'm trying to give myself a little bit of grace here. Basically, my goal today was just to start to rake this one section of the garden, get some of those old dead grasses off the top, and just kind of see what I was working with and start to pull some of those grasses out and see how established their root system was. Thought maybe after raking the dead stuff off the top that I'd just sort of be able to start plucking out the grasses. I don't know why I thought that, but I figured, it's springtime. The grasses really haven't started taking off yet. Maybe I'll be able to just sort of pull them out in bunches, and boy was I wrong. These root systems are pretty well established, and so I decided to just take my garden fork to it just to start to loosen up the top layer of soil, start to loosen up the roots. If you've ever dealt with grasses though, you know that they are just such a pain in the ass, and they create these mats with their root systems. So I have my work cut out for me. So at this point, I thought I'd just grab my hand fork and start to actually rip out some of this grass. But yeah, I'm realizing that this is going to be a huge job. And I know based on this camera angle, it doesn't look like there is a lot of garden behind me or around me, but I have 4 sections in my garden. These are the back 2, and they're actually pretty big. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do at this point. I am definitely feeling defeated and wishing that I would have done something a little bit more proactive last summer, but I mean, at this point, it is what it is. And I'm honestly not quite sure why I thought that pulling out these grasses would be easier because it's springtime. They're in there and they're in there good. So I'm thinking about maybe just focusing on some of the other areas of the garden because there's minimal weeds there. I have one section that's already grass free. So I think I'm just going to focus on planting some seeds, getting some of the other medicinal perennials established, and then I think I will just keep working on these back 2 sections as I have time, and instead of just wasting valuable time at this point, because we've been having a really nice spring and our season was late, but it's actually also a little bit early in terms of weather and last frost. So I do want to get planting some stuff. So yeah, I'm going to tackle this a little bit more today, but I think ultimately I'm going to start focusing on some of the other areas of the garden, and I might have to call in some reinforcements to help me with this back section. Okay, yeah, we need to move on to something different because I'm so over this and I'm feeling really defeated and I need to just do something else to make me feel more productive. So maybe I'll show you just a few signs of medicinal plant life in the garden because so far it's just been the mugwort. So this is some baby lady's mantle that I have growing. I actually found these on my way home from evacuation last year and I have 6 of them in the garden and I'm so happy that they overwintered well and that they're going to start coming back up this spring. And then I also have a really nice patch of motherwort that I planted. So yeah, I just decided to just sort of rake and level out some of this soil in one of the front sections of my garden, and I'm very thankful that my mom and I tackled this section of the garden last fall when the weather was really nice, there was no mosquitoes, and we could just kind of work freely. And yeah, I'm really happy. So we pulled all the grasses already out of this section of the garden, and right on the very left edge of the frame you'll see a brown tuft. That is my St. John's wort. So I have about 6 plants in the garden so far, and then right next to it you can see I almost left a little patch where I didn't rake. That is my hyssop. They're really tiny and I'm honestly not sure if they're going to come back up this year, but I'll probably end up maybe planting some more seeds just to sort of fill that patch out. I'm really going for kind of a cottage garden feel, so I'm going to be repeating some of the plants within each section of the garden and repeating colors and just kind of creating a nice layered effect that also is a little bit wild. So we have the St. John's wort and the hyssop. I definitely want to do one more patch of each of those in this section of the garden just so I get that repeating effect. And then I'm also thinking about doing some feverfew, California poppy, maybe some little tufts of lemon balm, some calendula. I also have some clary sage that I started from seed, and the plant babies are looking so nice, so I definitely want to transplant those out in this section, maybe like 2 different patches. I just have to wait till the risk of frost has passed, although like I said, we are early this year, so I don't think I have to worry about that at this point, but I still want to be safer than sorry because it's clary sage and I've been wanting to grow this in my garden for years, so I'm going to be cautious about it. And here I'm just grabbing some black dirt from the back of my yard. I have it kind of covered by a tarp, but I noticed a little bit of a low spot in the back of this front section of the garden. So I just kind of wanted to add a few shovels full of dirt, level it out a little bit better. So it was in this moment that I noticed it was starting to rain. So I decided to take my equipment inside and take a short break. And then, of course, as I was heading back outside, one of my cats, Wemberly, really wanted to come outside and say hi to everyone. So here she is. Her name's Wemberly. She's my fluffy tortoiseshell kitty, and she loves the outdoors. But unfortunately, we're not going to hang out outside today because it's back to work for me. So maybe I didn't get done quite as much as I wanted to today, but honestly, I'm happy that I at least know what I'm dealing with when it comes to the grasses, especially in this one section. Besides 3 of Lady's Mantle there's really nothing established in that one back section of the garden, so the grasses just really took over. The rest of the garden, however, I do feel optimistic about, and I'll show you guys some of the other medicinals that are already planted that I'm hoping come back again this year. And then I'll of course show you more as I start to plant seeds and transplant some of the things that I started indoors this spring. So I'm really excited to see how the garden turns out this year. It's a slow process. This portion of the garden actually used to be full of old gnarly raspberry bushes, and it took me a couple years to get the garden to this point. So honestly, I'm just happy that it's not overrun with weeds and old raspberries, and I'm happy that the soil is slowly starting to improve. I'm starting to see more bugs in the dirt, which is a really good sign. So slow and steady wins the race. I'm really optimistic about what this summer holds for the garden. So with that, thank you for joining me for my very first YouTube video. I have so much more garden work to do, so stay tuned and I'll keep you posted.